Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are checking out episode 23 of Spy Family, continuing this very intense tennis match with Campbell's kids, who are cheating in lots of different ways, between weird drugs being used and all of these booby traps on the court. It's been a wild time, but you know what? Lloyd seems to be doing all right, and I guess, like, Fiona's also there. I still have a problem with her, okay? She's trying really hard, and I get it. The heart wants what the heart wants, but Lloyd has Yor, and I will die on that hill for her, okay? This is not about, do I think that Yor and Lloyd are in love with each other and need to be together? No, this is about how my girl Yor is superior in every way, and I need Fiona to back off of my girl. So that's how I feel right now. We're gonna see how this match turns out. I don't think it's gonna be one of those times where, like, they win and it's gonna play out the way that Fiona wants it to, of like Lloyd magically falling in love with her at the end. She has some quite exaggerated fantasies, one might say. But maybe we'll see another meetup with Yor and Fiona to see if they can come to some kind of truce about the whole thing, because, you know, I feel like Lloyd's still gonna have to work with both of them, so it would be good if they could come to some kind of agreement, but we'll have to wait and find out. I'm really not sure how intense the end of this part is going to be, because Spy Family goes all over the place. Sometimes it's slice of life, sometimes we're focusing on like the more emotional side of things, other times it's like really intense things going on where there's like bomb threats and things. So I don't even know, but we have a tennis match to finish, so let's get into this episode. In 3, 2, 1, go. Ugh, I'm gonna miss this show and I have to take a break and wait for new episodes. The audacity. I feel like I got so used to, over the years, of waiting for anime to be like fully out, because I live in North America, so from like my whole childhood, we wouldn't get anime until it was like fully out. It had probably been out in Japan for like a year, and then we would get like physical copies of it, of like the whole series, and it would be dubbed, and I could just watch the whole thing. One, I had time to like binge watch a whole series. Two, that I would have the whole series available. And now I stream things, this new fancy connected world, and I have to wait between episodes. I know I'm behind on a lot of stuff too, but like the audacity to have to wait for new series episodes. I guess I could read the manga, which I'm not saying that that'll definitely happen, but I'm also saying I don't have a lot of self-restraint, especially when it comes to like fictional stories. I just don't want to catch up to the manga and then really have nothing to work with, you know? Uh-oh. That's a look. Do we have like elaborate hand signals? I mean, they do too. They're spies. They speak in codes and everything. Like, they're just like a minor inconvenience. Let's just recalculate. Yeah, I mean, they got this. You're feeding into her fantasy. Be careful. She's a little bit, uh, intense. Lloyd is so oblivious. I mean, bless. Which would be, hello? Oof. He's gonna probably throw up his game, though. I want to get hit on like your dominant side. Always prepared. I like that he's just like, it's fine. I prepared for this. He's prepared for everything. He is fueled by anxiety. I like how they're just like, wow, he's doing all this even with a hangover. I want screenshots of all of that. Like, shout out to the animators for the weirdness that was that animation. I feel like I need one for like a thumbnail. Because it might not have been dignified, but it got the job done. Oh, well, you have crazy eyes. Ooh, the camera movement though. This is a single shot. Dang. Shout out to the animators. It's like a single shot with the camera movement, but doing like 2D animation. Wow. Oof. I think it's just like, what passion. That's a look. Yeah. I do like that they just kept playing through. Like it wasn't like they were like saying, "Hey, this is unfair. You should stop the match." They're like, "We're gonna beat you even with all of this." Oh, look at Lloyd being encouraging. All of the like I love the self-awareness though. Are we reading lips? Convenient. Doesn't no one hear that? Wow. I'm kind of jealous as somebody who spends you spend a lot of time in art galleries. I bet Lloyd is undercover somewhere, already in disguise. Probably shouldn't let her bring a giant bag into your private collection of valuables. Just saying. I'm waiting to see which one might be Lloyd. The guy in the hat, maybe? Or maybe that guy who was checking the painting? Okay. Put it in her bag. I like that he has his disguise on under his disguise. Oh, poor Lloyd. He has been putting a lot into this mission. A little smile, though. Oh, they're adorable. What are we doing? You might try smiling when you say hello. I like Anya's concentrated look. Lloyd's face of like, what are you doing? I feel like she's gonna be better than she thinks, given that Yod uh isn't as shy and retiring as he seems. Sorry. Lloyd's okay, got me. Nah. My girl is athletic and nimble, and she was doing all that parkour when she was going over the rooftops to make sure that her child had her gym clothes. She's got this. Anya's face. Same. Lloyd looks a little bit worried, a little bit nervous. It's cool. I like that this might be what decides it of like whether or not Yod is worthy, is whether or not she wins this tennis match. You got this. Ooh. Oh, that had a bit of the same feeling as Anya at her dodgeball game. Oops. Yo. Look, my girl's superior. Look at her. I want to see her face. Yeah. How is the racket okay? Jeez. I mean, look, I am not on Nightfall's side, but like, don't like surf her out of existence, you know? I love how shonen this just became. I'm here for it. Steal him, he wasn't yours to begin with. I'm just saying. Oof. Oh, the tree. I like how Lloyd is was kind of like, don't do this, and it wasn't because he was like, Nightfall might do something and hurt Yoda. He was like, you don't know what Yoda can do. Mm-hmm. She's passionate about tennis. Just be more encouraging. Oh. She's training in the mountains. That seems interesting. Look, I also love the theater, but like a normal amount. That must have been a job. Poor. Oh, she's wearing the rings. I like the detail. Hmm. Is this gonna get me my feelings? Ugh, I want cake now. Oh, she needs cake. Got me my feelings a little bit. Because I think that it's like I was saying before about how like the core story and like the conflict that's like really happening is like the family, right? So it's them like being found family. How do they like make it work, get past all of their like secrets, the things that they're keeping from each other, the different kind of way that they view the world, right? Like they're not your average people. So how do they mesh with each other? Especially since they're immediately jumping into being a family when they don't really know each other, how to function with each other. So it's about them figuring out how to actually be a family. It's one thing to be able to act that and find a rhythm to acting that way. It's another to like actually be a family and have that like emotional attachment to someone, which is not something that you can force. It's something that you have to like build and you continue to build and work on. So I feel like Lloyd's still in this headspace of this is a marriage of convenience, like he talked about. This is a family because of the mission. And because of that, it's means he's continually having this block between him and the emotional connection that you need to have like an actual family with someone. Even just like friendship, right? Like a platonic relationship. You need the emotional attachment, and Lloyd just doesn't have that purposefully. Oh, we're training? I'm that bear hiding behind the tree in the background. Just like, you good? Ooh, are we gonna have like a mother focused episode? I love how like shonen that whole episode felt very reminiscent of the dodgeball episode in like the best way, because obviously there were lots of other elements in it that made it different, but like that exaggeration of like the action and the suspense of it. What there was that one serve, two serves, I guess, between Yod and Fiona, if you count the time when she like, I don't know, minced a tennis ball with a racket. Nothing really happened in that match, but it was very intense and very like over the top and dramatic, and I love that. As somebody who loves shonen, who loves dramatics, I love just like committing to the bit of like, this is the kind of thing that would happen in a shonen at that like pivotal final battle moment of like needing to prove yourself and using the fuel of love for someone or needing something with a passion. That is what's going to motivate you to get through this final fight and that kind of a thing. Definitely the kind of thing that happens in a shonen anime, and I love that they committed to it, but it was still just a tennis match in like a park. The context of it did not fit the shonen vibe, but we used the structure, and I appreciate that. But I feel really bad for Yor, because I've said, you know, time and time again that like her kind of core conflict that she's dealing with is like feeling inadequate, feeling like she doesn't measure up to this ideal that she has in her head of who she should be. And she won that tennis match, and she was like, you know, I won. And Lloyd was like, yeah, you did, like, congratulations. She's like, no, but I won. And he's like, yeah, you did, like, you won the tennis match. And she's like, but that's like not really what she meant. Right? I feel like she was, again, kind of like how Fiona Nightfall, I'm kind of like switching between her names because I guess like Nightfall is a little bit more accurate since like Fiona is still like an alias, but the real fight between those two was like I said before, Nightfall or Fiona is kind of like the archetype of what Yod kind of thinks that she needs to be in this mission. Like she needs to be like the perfect agent spy in this mission that's like super top secret and that kind of thing. Like she needs to like kind of like fit in with this mission that Lloyd needs her to fit into, and she needs to be perfect at it. And she sees this woman who could be that, who fits into a lot of the kind of boxes that Yor feels like she doesn't, of like being resourceful, being talented, being cool and collected, having that perfect exterior, being helpful and useful to Lloyd in all these ways that Yor thinks that she isn't. And defeating her in some way is a way of Yor kind of like proving like, I can though, I can defeat her, but like even beating her in that tennis match doesn't change the fact that all of these internal conflicts and doubts that Yor has aren't fixed. She didn't win that. So you can see her being very somber, walking away from that tennis match, and then also at home, like she still feels like she hasn't measured up, because just because she can do something like physically that like has her like win something, it doesn't change the fact that like she doesn't see herself as a good mom, she doesn't see herself as a good wife, she doesn't see herself as someone who's deserving of being that person, right? Like she sees herself as, you know, the assassin, the person who does awful things but sticks to her own code, but like doesn't fit into the archetype, even though the reason that she's like that was to support her brother, to support her family. She was there to protect him and support him and raise him on her own, even though she was a child herself. Even though she's not a great cook, she still made sure that he was fed, she still made sure that he was doing well in school and studying and had a roof over his head and had someone to come home to every day and who could love him. Like she fits into a lot of the things that a mother needs to be, and she just doesn't see that because it's not into this like archetype she has in her head. So I feel like it's all kind of coming to a head of her maybe deciding about whether or not she's the right fit here, right? Like she sees that there are other options and maybe she's not the right person, and that makes me sad because I think that she is. I think that she's much better at this than she gives herself credit, and Lloyd needs to kind of get past him saying like, oh, it's just the mission, it's just the mission, because it's not anymore. He does have an emotional attachment to Anya and Yor and Bond, but he doesn't want to see that. Even if it's like, again, like even if it's just platonic, even if it's not like being in love with someone to the point where you would marry them and raise a family and that kind of a thing, even just like a platonic emotional attachment that he has to Yor, he does have that, and he just like doesn't want to see that from his perspective. And I'm sure that's because he's used to like wearing a persona, getting the mission finished and leaving. So in his head, this is the mission, and he's going to be Lloyd Forger, there for as long as it's useful until the mission is over, and then he's going to have to leave. And I think that him having that barrier between his emotions and the mission and the people he's interacting with is a protection from that. I don't know how it's going to turn out for him though, because I feel like if I was around Yor, I would not be able to help him. She's my girl, okay? I'm gonna die on that hill. I stand by my words. Best girl. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. But I hope you enjoyed watching that episode along with me. You can click this playlist to go see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you miss next time I post a Spy Family reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!